So hi everyone, today I want to tell you about my worst negative trauma about my alopecia, the worst remarks people told me about my androgenic alopecia. So I will start first with the little sentences of people around me that hurt me a bit, and we'll continue with the worst. So if you want to know my worst trauma in my life about my alopecia, stay tuned. So the first thing is maybe the first sentence that hurt me a lot about my alopecia. I was about 20 to 23 years old. I had alopecia that was diagnosed since maybe 2 or 3 years. I was already applying a lot of Rogaine, minoxidil since 3 years, I think. So you can check my video about Rogaine if you are interested. I have a full review about it on my channel. And one day I came to see my boyfriend at his work, and he was working with a friend of him. And at that time I dyed my hair suddenly. I wanted to be brunette like Eva Longoria. It was the worst idea ever. It was the Eva Longoria period with casting creme gloss ad when she was brunette, chocolate and everything. She was in the Desperate Housewives TV show, and I was really fan of her, and I thought that with the same hair I would be like her, and it was not true. It was not the truth, but the result was that I was brunette. And this day when I came to see my boyfriend, he was with his friend that knew me since at least 2-3 years also, and he saw my new hair color that was, I think, a disaster, and he told me, "Oh, it's beautiful, but your scalp is more visible like this." And this little sentence hurt me like an arrow, like in the heart. Because it was just a little sentence that was not mean from him, but for me, I knew that for the first time someone was noticing my alopecia, because yes, my scalp was more visible, but if I did not have alopecia, even with a brunette color, my scalp would not be visible. So I was very, very sad of this little sentence. I decided to not be brunette anymore, but it took years to come to my natural hair color again. So I stayed brunette without wanting it for at least 3 years more. So it was really not a good idea. But yes, it was the first sentence against my alopecia that was really hard for me to hear, to listen. Then, 10 years later, I was 30 years old. It was the moment I decided to find a solution against my alopecia. And I was deeply hesitating between hair transplant and I made a video also, and about hair topper. And I made also a lot of videos about this subject if you are interested. I was hesitating a lot. My alopecia was already very visible, I think, because I noticed that some colleagues of mine were seeing my alopecia. So it was a declic, it was the start that made me think it was the moment to really find a solution. And because I wanted some approval of my parents at 30 years old, yes, 30, not 40. 30, like 30. I discussed about this subject with my mother. It was also very not a good idea. And she told me, "Oh no, you are focusing too much on your alopecia, there is nothing." 10 years earlier, it was her that saw my alopecia, so I was not focusing, even her saw my alopecia before me. But she was saying to me, "You are focusing too much. This kind of solution, hair topper and wigs, are for bald women. And you are focusing on this like me on my little, I don't know how to say, I will check. You are focusing on this like me on my sunspots on my skins. Because I was always telling her that she was focusing a bit about these sunspots that no one could see, because really no one could see it. And she was comparing these two subjects, like my alopecia that was really real, that was my worst complex, the thing that was hurting me the most about my physical appearance, to something that is even not visible. But also, it was, I know that a complex can be about something that is not really visible, but the problem with the sunspots of my mother, you will know everything, is that she go to the sun every summer, so she has sunspots, and after she go to the dermatologist to burn it, and she start again. I know it's not really smart, but she does that. So if she really does not want these sunspots anymore, it's easy. You protect your skin from the sun. It's really not the same problem as becoming bald, like me. For a woman, it's really difficult, and we cannot compare something that you can change easily by your attitude and your way of life, and the thing you can do to protect your skin or something else, and to something that you cannot really fight against it, and that is really, really difficult to feel beautiful for a woman when you are becoming bald. It's really difficult to feel beautiful when you know that you lose your hair. It's not something that you can compare easily, and I was really angry. I was really mad about this comparison. Sorry. So then I decided to wear hair topper. It was my solution, and I was really happy about that. And several years later, I was friends with one of my colleagues that knew that I was wearing a hairpiece because I told her. And then one day, I really wanted to know if some of my colleagues other than her noticed that I have a hair topper, because she could not notice it because I told her, so she knew. But I wanted to know if someone in the company noticed that I had a hairpiece, and she said, "No, Lord, trust me, no one ever noticed." Even if my hair topper at the beginning, my first hair topper was a bit a mistake because it was really too blonde for me. Even if the cap size was too small, the hair was really too blonde, no one noticed anything. But she also told me, and I think I did not really want that information, she told me, no, don't worry, no one noticed your hair topper, but at that time, before you wear a piece, we notice your alopecia, and we discuss it with Charlotte, because we were wondering what was your maybe problem, maybe you have a illness or something like that. And it was a friend, so I know she didn't say that to be mean with me, and I was asking. So when you ask, sometimes you have answer that you don't really want to hear, but it was really hurtful for me to hear that my colleagues discussed about my alopecia. They noticed my alopecia, I knew it, but they discussed about it, like, oh, what is the problem of Laure? I was imagining, I was thinking about this scene, and I was really sad to think that I was the subject of conversation. It was really hard. And I think it was also a bit dangerous for me to ask if someone noticed my topper, because if she would say yes, they noticed and they discussed about it, I think I was not ready to hear this answer either. So yes, it was really hurtful to hear that. Another day, I saw this time two remarks that are a bit the same. So I will begin with the worst one and then then this is two remarks that are a bit the same, but I will begin with the nicer one and finish with the mean one. One day I was still with this colleague at work, and she knew that I was wearing hair piece. It was a piece that was close to this piece, my autumn leaves hair topper, so very close to my hair color, maybe a bit lighter. And I was walking with her in the hallway. She told me, "Oh, your hair topper, I can see your hair topper here, because it's not the same structure of your hair." And I think it was true, because my hair are a bit, I don't know, wavy, curly, I don't know what to say, but they are not very straight. And usually when I wear a hairpiece that is very straight, I straighten a bit my hair. It takes 2 or 3 minutes every morning. But sometimes I'm a bit lazy, and this day I did not do it. So I'm sure that when this beautiful and straight hair were a bit like this, and that my hair under were a bit visible, someone that knew that I had a prosthesis could see it. And she told me, "Oh, it's not the same structure, it's really visible." She said something like this, like, "Your hair topper is visible." And it's really not a good idea to say something like that to a woman or a man wearing a hairpiece, because I could not do anything, of course. I was at work, and also I really think that it's visible when you know it, because nobody at work could see that I had a hairpiece. She told me herself that no one never saw it, even when the hairpiece was really too blonde for me, and with a cap side that was very too small, so not a lot of hair that could cover my own hair, that was not the same color at all and not the same structure. So when she told me, "Your hairpiece is really visible," she did not say it very nicely, and I took it not the good way. I did not say anything except, "Yes, you see it because you know it." And she said, "Yes, that's true." I think she also understands, because we are friends. Sometimes friends can be mean. It happens. She understood that I was a bit not happy of this remark. But what I can say is that it's not nice to someone wearing a prosthesis, even if it's a teeth, I'm not sure, prosthesis. You should never say, "Oh, I can see that it's not your real teeth." It's not nice to say that, even if you notice that it's not the same. If you say it really nicely, maybe it can be okay, but you have to say this thing very nicely. And this time it was not that nicely. It was, "I can see your hairpiece." Okay, thank you for this information. But I had worst situation that was almost the same with my wonderful mother. Sorry for her, but she does not understand English enough, so I'm sure she won't listen to this video. So one day I was in the street with her and with my father, and she was just behind me, and I was again wearing, it was not this piece, because it was one of the first topper from, it was not my brand Comme, diadème, it was the first topper that I had from another brand that I was working with on YouTube. And so I was still wearing this piece that is more straight than my hair, with this same problem of being lazy and not straightening my hair. But if you don't know, no one noticed. Trust me, no one never noticed, except people knowing it. So I was in the street with my mother just behind me, with the hairpiece on my head, So you just have to imagine this situation, and my mother behind me put her hand in my hair, not nicely at all, and move it like this, like a brusque movement, a bit violent movement in my hair, like, oh, I can see your hair topper here, with a bit of something not nice in the voice. I don't know how to say in French. We say mépris, but I will check on Google Translate. So it is a word contempt that I didn't know. So she moved my hair with her hand, with even contempt in the hand. Like, imagine, like moving my hair very fast and in a contemptuous gesture, and saying with the voice, with also contempt, like, I can see your topper is very visible because it's not the same as your hair. It was really not nice to say that, because as I just said before, it's not nice to say to someone wearing a hairpiece that the prosthesis is visible, especially on the street, especially with a tone that is not nice, because we cannot do anything. And at that time, I didn't have already my brand, but I was wearing a hairpiece since 1 year, so I was at ease with the concept of wearing hair topper. I was already making a lot of French videos, at the time it was in French, on my YouTube channel about hairpiece, so I was relatively at ease with the fact of discussing about my alopecia and about hair topper and wigs. But this remark in the street like this, and with this contempt tone, was really hurtful for me, because it's not because I discuss about my alopecia like that on YouTube and on Instagram and everywhere that it's not something that can hurt, and wearing a hair prosthesis is easy for maybe nobody. And even if I'm really proud of this kind of solution and it's my passion, I have now my brand, I really like this product and I'm proud of them. It's not when I can hear that the remark about my prosthesis is not nice, it hurts. It's like she would say, you are not beautiful today. But I think it's even worse because it's about my worst vulnerability, and I think that from a mother, it's a bit difficult to hear, and even from a friend and from anyone, but especially from people that are supposed to love you and try to not hurt you. I don't know if she made this remark knowing how it would hurt, but I think people that love you should always think about your vulnerabilities before speaking. It's the role of person loving you, like friends and family and boyfriends. So if people are not taking care of your feelings, it's not always a good sign. So there was a huge argument after this scene. Now, the worst. Always, again, with my parents. Sorry, but they don't understand English, so I think it's okay. It was at Christmas. It was at a moment I already had my brand, so I was at ease with hair topper and wigs and etc. and alopecia, and I think it's important in the story. And that Christmas I decided to wear a wig that was mine, and I was really proud of this wig because it was Russian hair wig. She was really wonderful, and I was really excited to wear this wig. It was one of my first wig ever, and the hair were so soft and silky, and I could smell it and dream with it. sleep with it, sorry, but sleep with it and dream about it. And I decided to wear this wig at Christmas because the wig was just perfect. But I didn't cut the wig. So it's true that when you buy a wig and you did not cut it, it can have a little wig effect, like the hair is so perfect with the bob so perfect, the lob, the bob, the haircut that is so perfect that it can be a bit wiggy effect. So to wear that wig, it would be better for me to cut maybe a fringe or a hairstyle just to change the symmetry. But I was really happy about this wig, so I wanted to wear it at Christmas. And at that Christmas, I could feel that even my sister said to me, but it was nicely, that yes, the wig would be better. It was really beautiful, but with a haircut and a style that breaks the symmetry, it would be a better result. I didn't know that because I'm a brand owner, so I know, but I just wanted to wear that wig. And I remember that my parents did not say a lot about that wig that day, but I had some little remarks about hair topper that were better for me than wigs, etc., etc. But that's okay. I spent Christmas time with them, and 2 and 3 months later, one day, I had a discussion with my mother about hair topper and wigs. It's normal discussion with me because I have my brand, so I always discuss about my work and about my hair topper and wigs. It's my passion, so it's a normal subject. And my mother was always telling me that hair topper are better than wigs for me, and I know why she was saying that. It was because at that time, it was 3 years before, she was not ready in her psychological mind to think that her little daughter was wearing a wig. It's not the same to say hair topper. In France we say volumateur, like volumizer, like it's just a little thing to put on your head to have more volume. It's not the same word than wig, or in French we say perruque. It's an awful word, like you wear a perruque. And she was not ready for me to wear a wig. But it's not her to be ready, it's me, okay? And me, I was ready. So I was a bit mad, it's not the term, but I was a bit angry that she wanted me to wear hair topper because she was not ready for me to wear a wig. And we were discussing about that, and I was saying to her that a wig is just like a topper. It's the same. It's the same result. It's just that it's bigger cap size than a hairpiece. Sorry for the noise. It's the same thing. And she said, yeah, but at Christmas, when you wore that wig, it was really obvious. Pascal is my favorite. You said it, that the wig was really obvious. And you also said that even the neighborhood could maybe see it. Sorry, it's not the neighborhood. I could feel that it was not a good word. Even the 2 neighbors, it's my 2 neighbors, when they met Laure, maybe they saw it. And I knew at that moment that they discussed about it just after Christmas. Like, my parents, I imagine I thought about this discussion. Oh, I think the neighbors that I discussed with at Christmas, I think they saw that she has a wig, like if they were ashamed about me and ashamed about me wearing a wig or a hairpiece. And it was really hurtful, especially for me. That is, in French, I was one of the first, in France, sorry, one of the first to discuss on YouTube in French about alopecia and wigs and toppers. I think I broke a bit the taboo on the social media in France. I started my own brand, and even with this, even with the fact that I discussed with them about hair toppers and wigs and my passion about these products since 2 years, they are still discussing behind my back about me, that the neighborhood maybe saw my wig and discussed about it. It was really, really hurtful. So at that moment, they were on the sofa. And I was on the floor because I didn't have any enough chair, and I just had to fight to not cry. It's the truth, because I was so hurt that my own parents could be ashamed of me wearing a wig, and could be ashamed that I could be part of that woman that needs to wear a wig, especially when I was so proud of these products and so proud to discuss about this subject on YouTube since 2 years. It was really hurtful, and what was the most hurtful, I think, in this discussion was that it was a bit an argument, because when my mother said to me, "Oh, I think wigs are better for you, no, toppers are better for you than wigs," I said, no, there is no difference, it's the same, the result is the same, and she could feel that the conversation was a bit disequilibrated, because I know my subject, so I know how to defend it, and hurting me at that moment, saying, "Yes, but at Christmas we could see that you have a wig." And I say, "Yeah, but because you know it." "Oh, but even your father said that the neighbors could see it and maybe they discussed about it." I thought that it was a way to gain the argument. Yes, I'm a psychological, I'm a shrink. It's shrink? I don't know. Yes, it's a shrink. I think I'm better in English than I think. I'm a shrink here, so I'm analyzing a lot what is in the mind of my mother to better understand my feelings. But I thought that it was a way to gain the fight and to gain the argument that was not fair, because we were discussing about something, and it's easy to hurt me and to say, "Yeah, but your wig was visible and your father could say it." He said that the neighbors were maybe seeing it also. And my father was so ashamed. He was like, "Oh, no, I don't remember, I'm not sure." And I was on the floor, just trying to not cry, to not show that I was hurt, actually, and to stop the subject. So she won. So that's all. I had other little things, but I think that's enough for today, and I think that's also enough for my mother. Even if she does not understand. Thank you for that. So what I wanted also to say by this video is, I think I'm a person that is very strong with that subject of alopecia and hair topper and wigs, because discussing of this situation on YouTube 3 years ago, regularly in videos for 3 years, helped me to feel more confident about my condition. Even if it's not beautiful today. But I think that I'm strong about that. I'm confident with the fact of wearing hair topper. I am capable of talking about this subject with complete strangers, even in my real life. And I can see that when someone that is close to me, like my mother or a friend or a colleague, is making a little negative remark, sometimes on purpose, I can feel that it's very hurtful, even for someone like me. And I can still go forward because I have enough confidence in this product, in the way I can look with it. I can show you if you are not, if you did not see it on my other videos, but I know that I'm more beautiful and confident, and that the result is just wonderful on me, and I trust the way I can see myself with this hair topper and wigs. So for me, when I have this kind of things that are said by other people, it's difficult, it's awful, but that's all. I can continue my life and I can continue to wear this beautiful hairpiece. But the problem is that sometimes I think about all these women and all these person wearing, even men wearing hairpiece that are beautiful with it, but can still have negative remarks about their piece, because sometimes it happens also when you wear a hairpiece that the result is not perfect for whatever reason. And I can only imagine the negative impact of these remarks on women that are not ready to handle it. So this is why I shared with you this video, because when you decide to wear a hair prosthesis, a hairpiece, and you decide to share it with your friends and family, maybe it will happen sometimes that you will have negative remarks and it will be hurtful. I'm sorry to say it, but I think sometimes it will be hurtful, yes. Maybe you will want to cry or to scream or just to kill the person. Don't do it. But I think the most important is for you to have confidence in yourself and in the result that you see in the mirror every morning. If you feel more beautiful with it, if you feel more confident with it, if you know that the result is more beautiful, there is no way to let people be mean with you, or even if they don't make it on purpose, but there is no way to let people break your confidence again, because alopecia is hard enough like this. We have to live with this thing. We have to live with the fact that we buy hair. It can be a real pleasure, and it has to begin a real pleasure, and for me it is. But it's really important to understand that these little remarks can happen, and you will be forced to deal with it and to move forward. And that's all. So if you have this kind of little negative remarks, don't hesitate to share it under this video, so other people can see it and just be more, just understand that it's not that important. You can still be happy with your hairpiece, and you can still be happy even if you have alopecia. And one day you will be able to laugh about this subject and to laugh about your friends, of your mother or your boyfriend making bad remarks like, I can see your hairpiece in the street. It's not a problem. It's not really a problem. It's hurtful at the beginning, but one day you will be able to laugh about it. Don't hesitate to like this video. I have other videos in English on this subject, hair topper, hairpiece, wigs, alopecia on the playlist, alopecia, English videos about alopecia and hairpiece. If you want to see my website with all this beautiful piece, it's my brand Comme, diadème. I will put the website in description, and see you soon in another video.